Before I start, I want to make it very clear that my review, my criticism about these films aren't supposed to be taken seriously. I don't want to be attacked by really diehard fans, so you guys with the pitchforks can relax, don't get upset. For each film, I will be scoring their plot, their writing, acting, and overall experience I had with watching them. To start us off, we'll discuss the most current one out of the bunch, Logan Paul's movie, Airplane Mode, which came out in 2019. So we're gonna travel back in time, think back of what was cool and trendy at that time.
Meow?
How ridiculous. I don't know who this man is.
Assemble.
Are you there yet? Logan and his social media influencer friends all get invited to the largest social media convention, #Tagacon, that is being held in Sydney, Australia. This is perfect because that is where Logan's Australian girlfriend, Ariel, lives. However, Logan is met with trepidation because of an incident occurring 10 years ago with his adopted brother, Wampa, who told him to jump from a tree as part of a YouTube stunt, resulting in his fear of flying. At first, Logan is hesitant, but the idea of finally having sex with Ariel and helping his brother get laid wins him over and ultimately decides to go to the convention. On the same flight, prankster Vitaly is on board, who is being extradited back to Australia to be put on trial. Logan is seated next to a woman named Jenna, who he connects with after finding out they have similar femur scars and that she can make him snort while laughing, a trick only he believed his online girlfriend Ariel could do. When the pilots announce over the intercom that all passengers should put their phones on airplane mode, they all refuse, ensuing chaos. The phone signals cause the plane's wiring to malfunction, resulting in the pilots getting electrocuted to their death. Due to another mishap, Vitaly is able to escape from his imprisonment and the lives of the passengers are jeopardized. Logan finds himself in the middle of the situation of having to not only land the plane, but to also prevent Vitaly from continuing his killing spree. For reasons unknown, Logan is able to read the minds of gay people. Sorry. For reasons unknown, Logan is able to read the minds of gay people. That saves him from multiple situations. Vitaly takes control of the plane, bringing it further into the sky, soon to escape. Jenna quickly passes the autopilot stick that was broken off by Logan, which he throws into Vitaly's chest. Vitaly meets his demise when he gets flung into the plane's engine. Logan uses Jenna's phone to watch YouTube instructional videos on how to land the plane safely. The day is saved, but he sadly parts ways with Jenna. Logan later realizes he has feelings for her. When Logan and Wampa pull up to Ariel's house, he decides to put Wampa in his place. Ariel and Wampa end up having sex. When Logan arrives at a hotel room that Jenna is staying in, he assumes that Richie is the boyfriend. Logan begins to leave, but the thoughts of the man confirm that he is actually gay. He goes back to the room, convinces the man to leave by sharing a kiss, and Jenna and him get to have sex. I'm not kidding, during this movie, I just kept checking the time, like how much more I gotta sit through this, like, get me out of here! Like most movies, right? There's a certain structure it follows. Roller coaster, right? For this movie, however, before the roller coaster even starts, the workers will come out and they just start pummeling me. There was just so many unnecessary scenes. I don't know why. There were termites. Why? Good question. Who was in the writing room? Who proposed that? And they're like,
these termites are just like in front of like these other termites that are filming. Like, that's gonna be so good.
And then you could be like,
you don't get it. Like, that's not your humor. Like, you're not cool enough. You don't get it.
Thank we don't have the same humor because that was just stupid. No jokes. In my hands and clapping like this would have been so much more funnier. I'm kind of very aggressive. I gotta, let me tone it down. Sorry, but yeah. And then there was a scene where we have a daughter and her parents, right? To say goodbye, they start making out. Who are the writers? Oh. Okay. The dots are connecting. That makes sense. There is a lactating man, a vagina-shaped cloud, a dildo being shoved up a man's butt, blowjobs. The plot of the movie was not strong enough to really keep the audience engaged. I think that's why it would be necessary to have all those bizarre scenes. So, half a termite for plot. Okay, the writing, the humor is catered to those with the lowest concept of comedy, you know? Which makes sense considering, you know, who the cast was. Because when you think of comedian, none of these people's faces will pop up. And if they do, you need to expand your palette, friend. You gotta really search out and branch out more. And don't think what I'm saying is that these YouTubers, Viners, aren't funny, because there were many Viners that were funny. This movie just happens to put the wrong people in. There were a lot of Viners, right? And I feel like they carry their antics onto this movie. But with Vine, you consume their content in seconds. So to see them transition that into this movie, it didn't mesh well, because they would drag it for far too long. It seemed out of place. Usually when you tell a joke, you wait for the recipient to like laugh, right? Digest that and like really sit with it. This movie does not let you get even a ha out, like even an H, like nothing, because they keep going back to back to back with them. Something sexual here, right after is something racist, something sexual. Why did they add the termite? Writing and jokes get a half a termite for me. Acting. I know acting's not easy, because I have to act in my own videos and I can see how awkward it is, like all my flaws, right? I understand, I can see my shortcomings. However, I don't think these people know what they're lacking, you know? Logan's performance wasn't as bad. Like, he held his own, but because of the writing, right, the script, he was not able to like really stand out. He just came off as a sweaty, annoying person in this film. And as for the rest of his cast members, I feel like we are all in the same boat when it comes to acting, which brings me some kind of comfort, because if they can put themselves out there, sky's the limit for me, right? Prepare to see my face on a Marvel poster. Acting is going to be a 0.5 termite. Okay, overall experience with the movie, I'm gonna end it with 1 termite, because giving it a 0.5 across the board seems like I'm attacking the cast personally, which I'm not. I think if Logan really wanted to like change up the tone of this film, he could have made it to like a horror thriller, because mind you, you have all these social media influencers, right? And they're all pretty much desperate for attention. So there was a passenger that had died in the plane. I feel like if they had filmed themselves with that dead body, it would have set a tone for that, you know? Because who would do something, film a dead body? Airplane mode? More like sleep mode, because this movie put me straight to sleep. Gotcha. Alright. Okay, moving on. This is KSI and Casper Lee's movie, Laid in America. Traveling back to the year 2016.
The other time, the one!
2 foreign exchange students, Duncan and Jake, make it their goal to get laid on their last night in America. Duncan sees that opportunity when Tucker, the popular jock, announces that he will be having an end-of-the-year party. However, Duncan can only get in if he brings 2 hot girls. Jake disapproves of this deal because he doesn't want his crush, Kaylee, to see him with another girl. Duncan persuades him, and they set out to find 2 girls from an app called Blinder. They match with Amber and Violet and agree to meet up. Amber and Violet turn out to be Amber and her wannabe gangster boyfriend, Goose. Goose takes Duncan to an ATM to extort money, but gets knocked out. This helps Duncan with his escape. He is able to steal Goose's car and gold watch, knocking out Amber and freeing Jake. They make their escape, only having to pull over for Jake to vomit. A man mistakes their car for an Uber. He mentions he's going to a place called the Pleasure Palace. Duncan is fully interested in going and decides to drive over. Before they are able to successfully get laid, the police shut down the Pleasure Palace while Duncan and Jake escape. On their way to the party, Duncan and Jake have an argument. Duncan is upset with how Jake is acting simply because of his crush with Kaylee, while Jake believes Duncan is making dumb decisions, putting their lives in danger, and ruining his chances with his dream girl. This argument ends their friendship and they part ways. Duncan is able to get into the party by exchanging Goose's watch. Jake sneaks in through Tucker's bedroom window. He finds Kaylee and tries talking to her, but she wants nothing to do with him. Tucker confronts Jake when he sees him trying to speak with Kaylee. The party gets interrupted with gunshots. Goose reappears, confronting Jake. An enraged Tucker knocks Goose out, and before he can get to Jake, Duncan comes from behind and smashes a glass item over Tucker's head. Jake and Duncan reconcile, becoming friends again. Kaylee takes Jake to Tucker's room and tries to apologize for her behavior towards him earlier. Jake expresses his feelings with a kiss, telling her he accepts her apology, and they have sex. Duncan spots Scarlett. She offers to have sex with him because their earlier session was cut short, which he gladly accepts. Jake and Duncan arrive back home in the morning, packing their bags for the airport. The movie ends with Jake and Duncan parting ways. The tone of the movie was set when KSI was just humping the sex doll. A bad performance that will leave you unsatisfied. This plot of high schoolers wanting to lose their virginity isn't new. It is weird to think that there is a sheer number of shows and movies that kind of keep that as the main focus, but that is a discussion for a different time. With a plot so similar to other movies, it is important to execute it in a way that not only separates you from the other films, but will also leave your audience engaged and entertained. Late in America fails to deliver. I feel like it loses the plot with its poor writing and acting. I wasn't amused with any of this movie's attempt at of obscene humor, and not that obscene humor can't be done. A good reference that I can think of for obscene humor, lewd humor, would be the TV show Pen 15, which I highly recommend, but it is a show you need to watch on your own because it gets really awkward fairly quickly.
Oh my god, okay, this was a lot for Kate.
Late in America gets half a sex doll. To me, it's ridiculous to think that this writing was looked at from a number of people and it was approved. Writing is an essential part of what makes a movie a good movie. So that's why this movie's writing was poor and lackluster. I feel like with this poor writing, it kind of robbed the audience of this crazy, fun adventure these two friends could have had. The jokes weren't great either.
Tucker Jones! Yo, what's going on, everyone? Tucker Jones on the mic. Today's lunch is meatloaf with mashed potatoes, and if you're a vegan for whatever stupid reason, it's salad. Also, I just want to address the rumor that's been going on about me. Yes, I did hook up with Jacqueline Wasansky, and yes, she does have herpes, but I did not contract it. Marsha, I'm okay, all right? Relax.
Just stick with the paper.
Marsha, calm your tits.
The only thing I think that helped save the humor part of this film was Bobby Lee. And Bobby Lee is a comedian. He's gonna say some crazy shit.
You wake up the sleeping dragon, he might have sex with your face.
The writing will get one sex doll. Because honestly, Bobby Lee helped keep this film afloat. Okay, acting. I don't know how they got paired up, KSI and Casper Lee. It's a very odd matchup. And because of that, I think that's what really affected the chemistry of the cast. You have KSI, his over-the-top acting, and then you have Casper Lee, his failed attempt at being the sweet, innocent guy. It did not mesh well. And I don't think these guys were expecting to get any type of recognition for their acting. To simply put it, it wasn't great. I think the chemistry is what was really lacking, and that's why there's such a disconnect for the audience to feel any connection. You're watching them, you're supposed to think, oh, they're friends, right? They developed this friendship. And so when they parted ways, they said goodbyes to go back to their home. Strangers leaving the screen, that's pretty much it. So acting will receive half a sex doll. Overall experience, movies can be life-changing. They can be helpful. Helpful in the sense that they can expand your knowledge of what to do and what not to do in movies. Late in America teaches you that poor writing, poor acting will result in a very poorly made movie. I'm gonna end my watching experience with one sex doll. They were so desperate to get laid. Why didn't they just each other? Laid in America, more like paid in America, because you would need to pay people to watch this movie. Gotcha. Jumping on to the next film, we have Smosh the movie. This was in 2015, so we're changing gears again.
Hello.
I will finish what you started.
No.
Of a day in the press, Miley, what's good?
Anthony and Ian are best friends living at Ian's parents' house. Anthony has a job as a pizza delivery man. Ian stays at home and spends his days scrounging through YouTube while making inappropriate attempts at getting one YouTuber's attention, Butt Massage Girl. They both discover an old video of Anthony singing Magic Pocket Slave Monsters theme at their high school graduation. In the video, Anthony attempts to impress his crush, Anna Reed, by trying to do a backflip but fails miserably by landing on his face and the microphone being shoved up his butt. Whilst discovering this video, they also learn about their 5th year high school reunion being on the same day. The duo decides they need to take down the video before it destroys Anthony's chances at reconnecting with Anna. They head to YouTube headquarters and meet the CEO of the company, Steve YouTube. Steve explains that the only way to fix the video is by going inside YouTube through a portal and changing the video from the inside. He provides the duo with 2 phones, equipped with an artificial intelligence named Deary, who will be helping them on their journey. After tumbling through a series of YouTube videos, they eventually end up in a Jenna Marbles vlog. Jenna warns them that once their Deary phones run out of battery, they will be permanently stuck in YouTube, just like she is. They quickly navigate their way through various videos before successfully finding the embarrassing video. Anthony discovers that Ian was the one who recorded and uploaded the video. Ian finally expresses his frustration with how boring Anthony has become, which leads to an argument between the pair. Ian decides to make it up to Anthony by beating up his past self in order to prevent his humiliation. Anthony tries to help Ian, but past Ian interferes and attacks him. Both the past and current versions of Ian and Anthony engage in a fight. During the battle, Deary reveals itself to be Steve YouTube, who tells them that sending the 2 into YouTube was part of his evil scheme to keep them in YouTube forever. Frightened, Anthony and Ian race to escape YouTube via their video history, with Steve unsuccessfully trying to stop them. Steve is waiting for them at the portal when suddenly a bear appears and attacks Steve, allowing the duo to escape YouTube. Returning to the real world, Anthony and Ian discover that due to their changes to Anthony's embarrassing video, now titled Clone Fight, they end up in an alternate reality where they have become famous. Steve YouTube, now going by YouTube A, has Anthony's former job as a pizza delivery man, and Jenna Marbles is the CEO of YouTube. But Massage Girl is Ian's girlfriend, who accompanies them as they go to their high school reunion. Anthony seeks out Anna and finds her. He is rejected. Anna shares that she loved him back then, but is intimidated of his rich and famous current self. Encouraged by Ian and an image of Austin, Anthony performs Magic Pocket Slave Monsters and successfully performs a backflip, winning over Anna. I did grow up watching Smosh, so you would think like I'm being biased, but I think because the film didn't have so much racist comments or like lewd content, it didn't overshadow the plot. There were a few wiener jokes or like an obsession with butts, but other than that, it was fun. Would I watch it again? No, but there were jokes told that I did laugh, you know?
Hey, we got some letters here.
If it's from my grandma, check for anthrax.
What's up?
So, this weekend, I'm doing the moonwalk for ring finger largatia. I'm moonwalking 37 miles to raise awareness for people whose ring finger is longer than their pointer finger. It's a very important cause and one that's dear to my heart.
I don't care what Billy's Snapchat says. Billy's Snapchat is a little I'm Steve YouTube. What I say goes.
I just wanted to add, again, I'm not being biased, but it felt really good to see Jenna Marbles' face. I miss you. Back to the movie, sorry. Again, I'm not playing favorites. I'm just saying Jenna. It was really nice to see her. The plot. I am going to give it 2 butts. Really, compared to the other films, this film does have a better structure to it. It's not like the most spectacular roller coaster, but it's a ride nonetheless. The writing reminded me of like the skits that Anthony and Ian would do, which isn't a bad thing. I think with the writing, it really helped, I guess, enhance the chemistry between Anthony and Ian.
Hey, man.
Hey, dude. Glad to hear it, because I need a ride.
Ah, I knew it. You can't keep doing this. You can't just order a pizza every time you need a ride somewhere, okay?
Why not? You're already out driving around. Plus, my mom started charging me for rides. What's the big deal?
The big deal is I'm a working professional now, and you need to respect that.
You deliver pizzas.
I work in food distribution for a multi-million-dollar company.
Where you deliver pizzas.
Look,
I will be giving the writing 2 butts. Going to acting, I think they did really well. They had great chemistry, and you can chalk it up to like they basically grew up with each other, they're best friends. What they were given their script, they were able to put out a decent performance because it didn't feel like they were reading off the paper. But yeah, I think everyone, Jenna, I think everyone did really well with their acting. It didn't come off as stiff or unpleasant to watch. Acting score 3.5 butts. Overall experience with the movie. The movie was full of nice surprises. You know, the surprises being all those YouTubers. It was like a huge throwback. It was like a time capsule. The humor really fit during its time. The writing, although nothing like innovated, it was still so fun and enjoyable for a casual viewer. Overall, this movie will receive 3 butts. Smosh the movie no one wants to see. Bada bing, bada boom. So for this movie, we don't have to travel that far back. It's gonna be Shane Dawson's movie, Not Cool, which came out in 2014. Well, let's set our mindset to 2014.
Seems crazy what I'm about to say. Wickedly talented, one and only Adele Dazeem.
Beyonce, Jay-Z.
Perhaps okay will be our always.
This movie was not something I expected. And it wasn't like those like pleasant, unexpected movies. It's the regretful type. This is coming from someone who grew up watching Shane, a huge fan. I'm talking about like I used to watch his Ask Shane videos, which is, if you know, you know. So you would think I would be accustomed to Shane's antics, right? The jokes he would pull, but this movie left me baffled. Ugh. I think I do need to like say a trigger warning if you do plan on watching this movie, because there is a scene that involves rape, and there's another scene separate from it, but it's very explicit. We do see a homeless man's penis. If that's not like these big major red flags of like, oh wait, this might not be the movie for you, I'll be talking about a lot more. So Scott and Tori reunite and end up sleeping together. Scott now has an interest in Tori and tries to get to know her better. They meet up once again, and Tori comes up with the idea of doing a list together, which is basically a list of outrageous things to do. Those extreme activities consist of things like on his ex-girlfriend's lawn, piercing Scott's ears, pretending to be pregnant and killing their baby, mooning people, which in this scene is where the homeless man exposes himself. After spending a day with one another, Scott and Tori connect on a deeper level. They end up sleeping together, but immediately find themselves fighting due to a misunderstanding. As Scott and Tori were doing their whole adventure, Joel tricks Janie into going on a date with him. She thinks Joel is there to help her study for a test when Joel actually had planned a detailed date night of all of Janie's favorite things due to his stalking of her page. She realizes what he has done, and although they share a kiss, he wants to stay as friends, which Joel sadly accepts. Scott attends a party to which Tori later decides to go to make amends with Scott, only to see that Scott is being raped by his ex-girlfriend. She misinterprets the scene playing out and assumes the worst, that Scott no longer wants her. Scott ends up doing one last thing on the list to prove to Tori the decent guy he is, by shaving his head. In the end, Scott and Tori are happily together and are able to spend the holidays with one another. I'm not pulling any punches. The plot was doomed as soon as some appalling started happening. A homeless man eating his feces, Shane Dawson making out with a girl, and them going to the bathroom for her to give him a blowjob through a glory hole. This happened like in the first 5 minutes, mind you. I think the plot was wasted with this obsession with doing edgy jokes. This idea that you need the shock value that involves a rape scene, someone exposing their genitals. I feel like this movie had the potential to be like a cozy film with these high school kids reuniting, only to find out they have feelings for one another, trying to navigate through that feelings. But in good old-fashioned Shane Dawson, we always got to take it a step further, which is to make everything sexual and very unbearable to watch. For the plot, I'm going to have to give it a half a glory hole. Moving on to scoring the writing and jokes, it was poorly written. I could not bear to hear the things that some of these characters were saying.
God, you are the blowjob queen. I'm gonna come. Oopsie daisy. Don't want to come in your mouth. You're a lady. Where should I do it?
I can't believe you like what's eating Gilbert Grape.
Hey, do you want to get retarded with me?
I had such a bad reaction and whiplash with the way the R slur was like getting thrown around. I never found it funny. I really didn't. You could blame it on the fact that as soon as I was born, they injected me with the wokeism needle, and woke just goes and flows into my body. For the rape scene, there was no proper reasoning behind it. There's no way to justify it, because really, if you wanted Tori to think Scott was cheating or no longer liked her, you could have had the ex-girlfriend kiss him. She would have saw Heather kiss him. She would have misinterpreted that and be like, okay, Scott no longer has feelings for me. She would feel hurt and she would leave. And as for the character Joel, what the was that about? He saw that Janie, Scott's sister, was in a predicament. He saw that she was like pretty much in a corner, right? She really needed to pass that exam. And he saw that. He capitalized her desperate need to pass the exam, planned this whole date thing from stalking her, I think it was Facebook, in hopes that it would lead him to having sex with her. Ooh. I wouldn't want to be friends with that. Are you kidding me? Okay, there is this big moment that's supposed to be like the real emotional scene. It's when Shane shaves his head. That's the big emotional scene. Now, if you're a long time Shane Dawson fan, you would know his hair was a big part of him. If you were a fan and you saw him shaving his hair, you would be like gasp in shock, like, oh my god. I'm sure that was a big part for him, right? Because of course hair is a big deal for some people. But I don't know, it came off as silly. I think more so for his character, the way he was written. It just came off as like, dude, come on now, you're fine. It'll grow back. He tried to play off a Mulan moment, and it was not working out for me. Also, yeah, randomly, Tori's sister is blind. There's a sense like there's adding nonsense to the film in order to make insensitive jokes possible. That's gross behavior. Really. My score for the writing, I'm going to give it half a glory hole. The acting. The writing fits really well with Shane's acting range. Like, he plays the asshole really well. That wasn't the intention to make his character unlikable. It should have been the intention because he was written so bad. My score for the acting will be 1 glory hole. Overall experience of watching this film, I did not enjoy it. No matter how I look at it, no matter how much leeway I'm trying to give to it, I just found the jokes unsavory. Plus, I'm not trying to cancel anyone with the jokes being said. I'm not trying to cancel anyone. You don't need to watch the movie. I think it's better that way. I would hope that this is something Shane himself will look back and think, yeah, not his best material. Overall experience with this film, I'll give it 1 glory hole. The title holds truth, not cool indeed. Our final YouTuber movie is one of the OGs. It is none other than Ryan Higa. His first YouTube film came out in the year 2008. Whoa.
It's time.
A struggling moving producer, Horace seeks out 2 internet superstars, Ryan and Sean, to resurrect his falling career. He invites them over to Hollywood where Ryan and Sean struggle to find a way to get there. Upon arrival, they meet up with Ink, Horace's assistant. Ink drives with the duo to the office where a sing-along starts. The group finally arrives at the office and Horace fills them in on the situation and tries to persuade them to agree upon his terms. After some dispute, Ryan and Sean finally sign the contract and are immediately put to work. Ryan and Sean go through the grueling process of makeovers, massages, tanning beds, fitness training, singing, and dancing. Ryan and Sean soon realize the pressure of becoming the next big thing. After an exhausting activity, Ryan and Sean fall asleep on a plane that takes them back to their home. When they awake on their bed, they find a script for a sequel to their movie on their dresser. I want to say that I grew up watching Ryan Higa. I am forever grateful for all the laughs he provided and the positive impact he had for the, Asian community. So what I say all comes from like the love and respect I have for the guy. This movie was it was so bad and terrible. So for the plot, it was a tangled mess. I feel like, the people in charge of this whole production saw the type of numbers Ryan was pulling and just kind of went from there. It was a very frail attempt to exploit it. I mean, I could be wrong. Maybe they did have good intention. I do believe the rise to YouTube's popularity impacted the way this movie turned out. It was like navigating through uncharted territory. There weren't any guidelines for internet content transitioning to the big screen. However, I still feel the people in charge had a responsibility to make a sensible movie. I think they really missed the mark on this one. So the plot will receive half of inflatable green ball. So scoring the writing and joke. If you like fart jokes, then this movie is right up your alley. There were a few jokes that seemed to drag on for way too long.
Yeah, look at that. Okay, well, let me see what's going on. I feel like going through my leg here.
The writing really did feel like one big skit. There was introduction to side characters, which you end up just finding out is like one obsessed fan, which I don't think they needed to add. There were a lot of things that were occurring that kind of just left you like befuddled. For the writing and jokes, I'm gonna be scoring it 1 inflatable green ball. Score of the acting. Ryan and Sean's acting reminds me of my own acting. It's terrible. Yeah, they could not act to save their life, but it was fun to see them try. They made it feel like they were reading off the paper.
Stupid Ryan. He told me he would pick me up an hour and a half ago. Where is he? I swear he's losing it.
Miss Carmez, I gotta tell you, if this is all you have for us, it's not worth all this pain and suffering we have to go through. I don't want to just be doing remakes of old shows.
I will score the acting with half an inflatable green ball. Overall experience of watching this movie, I can't imagine actually having to pay real money to see the film. The overall watching experience I had with this movie, I'll score it 1 inflatable green ball. Ryan Sean's Not So Excellent Adventure, more like Ryan and Sean's Not So Excellent Movie, because yeah, it wasn't great at all. Bada bing, bada boom. So I gave my thoughts, my reviews, my scores for each of these films. Let's rank them. At the bottom of the pyramid, at number 5, we have Airplane Mode. If you haven't seen it already, you should keep it that way. Coming up next, at number 4, we have Shane Dawson's Not Cool movie. This is a reminder that recklessly adding crude humor won't distract the audience from your poorly made movie. Coming up at number 3, Late in America. Pretty forgettable. It's only landing at number 3 because the other ones are like real shit. At number 2, Ryan and Sean's Not So Excellent Adventure. It goes to show, sometimes fart jokes can be good. And of course, last but not least, at number 1, Smosh the Movie. Yay! Okay! See, keep it classy, keep it simple, and it can be just as fun. A big takeaway from all of this, sometimes it's best that movies stay as just ideas. I'm not trying to dunk on these guys. It shows, like, we do start from somewhere, right? These films were strictly for fans, which begs the question, can a YouTuber make a film that doesn't rely on the viewership of their fan base, you know? Does that make sense? I'm not trying to like say I'm better than these folks. My camera died. I want to continue talking because this is important to get the message across. These are my opinions and thoughts of a film. You do not need to agree with me. But yeah, that concludes my ranking of some of your favorite YouTubers' movies. Jenna Marbles, you should make a film about your basketball game tomorrow. I'd watch it. Thank you for watching. Have a good night. Eat well, sleep well. Don't let the bed bugs bite.